on that bill. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Bills Conference Committee members. Against Senator Mohammed Tai Mongunu, Chairman. Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, Member. Senator Suleiman Omar Sadiq, Member. Senator Emmanuel Udendegen, Member. And dismissed Senator Ekong Samson, Member. Any petitions? None. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, distinguished Senator, the first business of the day is presentation of House Bill standing in my name on Federal Polytechnic Act Amendment Bill 2024. President may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 92, first reading.
Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, HB 92, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second business of the day is also the presentation of House Bill standing in my name on Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Utu Jeremy, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 221. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Utu Jeremy, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 221, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Otu Jeremy, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 221, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the third business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Barhau Jubril on the Occupational Safety and Health Bill 2024, SB 433. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Occupational Safety and Health Bill 2024, SB 433, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Occupational Safety and Health Bill 2024, SB 433, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the first order of the day is second reading of Executive Bill standing in the name of FCT Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024, 456. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was stood down yesterday for details thereof to be circulated, and details have now been circulated. Mr. President, with your permission, I move that debate on the bill do resume, having presented by lead debate yesterday. You may now invite distinguished senators to make their contributions.
Deputy Senate President.
Mr. President, to guide the Senate, so that we don't waste time on this, the debate was concluded yesterday, but what was not available was the details. And the detail is now made available. So, what we need to do is to ask for the approval of the Senate so that it will go to the next stage of its processing. So we don't continue to do the same thing again and again. The debate was concluded yesterday.
Distinguished colleagues, in view of the provision of the details in respect of the FCT supplementary appropriation bill, those in favor that this bill be now read a second time say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account, the total sum of 98 billion 500 million naira only, to accommodate additional inflow from internally generated revenue IGR, resulting to a revised total FCT IRS 2024 statutory revenue appropriation to the sum of 348 billion 720 million naira only, and for related matters 2024. SB 456, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account, the total sum of 98 billion 500 million naira only, to accommodate additional inflow from internally generated revenue (IGR), resulting to a revised total FCT IRS 2024 statutory revenue appropriation to the sum of 348 billion 720 million naira only, and for related matters 2004. This bill is now read for the second time and is hereby committed to the two committees on FCT and FCT area councils, respectively. Revert to the Senate in 1 week. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the second order of the day is presentation and consideration of report of the committees on sport development and judiciary, human rights, and legal matters on National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 SB 455. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 22 May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Kawu Suleiman, Chairman of Committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Kawu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Suleiman Abrahaman Kawu Sumaila Oyapar, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano. Mr. President, my dear colleague, I am here by a motion to present a report of the Senate Joint Committee on Sport Development, Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matter, and the Anti-Corruption Committee matters on the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024. I so move, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Governor Bello. Distinguished Senator Sani Bello.
What can I do for you, sir? No, but I'm doing the assignment you gave me. I'm just about to bring it.
A motion.
And I second the motion, sir.
A motion has been moved that this August Assembly do accept the report from the Committee on Sports Development and Judiciary.
Yes, sir. Mr. President.
On the Anti-Doping Bill 2024. So what you can do for the Senate is to second the motion.
Yes, I second the
For the
motion.
Senate to receive the report.
I second the motion as presented, Mr. President.
Noted. Distinguished colleagues, it's always good to concentrate whilst we are on. But a motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do receive the Committee on the Anti-Doping from the two committees. Those in support of the motion and move and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Kau, you may proceed to lay the report. Good morning. Distinguished Senator Kawu, you may proceed to summarize your report.
Mr. President, my dear colleague, I remain Suleiman Abrahaman Kau Sumaila, OFR. Mr. President, I am here to give the overview of the report of the Senate Joint Committee on Sport Development and Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024. Preamble. The Senate at its sitting on Wednesday, 22 May 2024, deliberated on the general principle of the bill for an act to domesticate and impose in Nigeria as the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, Convention Against Doping in Sport and to implement Nigeria's obligation to the World Anti-Doping Code, international standard and for related matters. After extensive deliberation, the bill was read for the second time and referred to the Joint Committee on Sport Development and Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matter for further legislative action. As an executive bill, it was sponsored by the Senate leader, distinguished Senator Bamidele Ope Misioen, Ekiti Central Senatorial District. It will be recalled that the bill was read for first time on 21 May 2024. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, the objective of the bills in a nutshell seek to domesticate the UNESCO Convention against doping in sport, among other things, establish the National Anti-Doping Center for the purpose of combating doping in sport, in compliance with World Anti-Doping Code and UNESCO Convention. The objective of the bill are as follows: domesticate the International Convention against Doping in Sport, establish an independent body charged with responsibility for implementation of the World Anti-Doping Code and the international standard subscribed to by Nigeria, protect the right of athletes to participate in doping-free supporting activities, promote fair and equal treatment of all athletes and their health, coordinate and harmonize effective sport anti-doping program at the national and international levels with regard to detection, deterrence, and prevention of doping, and provide measures for the prevention and control of doping in sport. The committee adopted a methodology after the referral. The Joint Committee met where it deliberated on provision of the bill extensively. The Joint Committee also scrutinized the provision of the bill and also carried out extensive clause-by-clause analysis to ensure that it conformed to normative drafting standard. Consequent upon the making a markup session by the Joint Committee on the bill, the following observation and finding were made: that the contemplation of the bill is a direct response to the domestication of the International Convention against doping in sports, that the provision of the bill is in tandem with the multilateral UNESCO Convention and treaties to be adopted by nationals to prevent and eliminate drug doping in sport, in compliance with the World Anti-Doping Code and the UNESCO Convention as part of the resolution from the General Conference held in October 2005 in Paris. That being a signatory of the convention, it is incumbent on Nigeria to domesticate the treaty in order to tackle the ugly menace of doping among our sportsmen and women. That the bill will strengthen the operation of the National Anti-Doping Committee, which was established as an interim measure to tackle doping issues through the provision of appropriate legal instruments, and that as sport lobbying nation, it is imperative that there is a legislation in place to bring about improvement and ensure fair play in supporting environment. Then the committee come up with some recommendation. As the Joint Committee, having considered the proposed bill and taken into account its relevance to the development of staff of sport in the country, hereby recommend as follows the recommendation. So I move and submit that the Senate do consider and pass the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024. I move, Mr. President, and my dear respected colleagues. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Mongunu.
Distinguished of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Mombuno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, this bill is res ipsa locutor. It speaks for itself. So there is no need for much ado, rather than to pass this bill with the speed of light. But be that as it may, I want to add that this bill is merely inviting the Senate to do the needful. And that is, Nigeria is already a signatory to the International Convention Against Doping in Sports. Nigeria is already a signatory, so this bill is merely inviting the Senate to domesticate same, so that in the operation of this bill or in the enforcement of this bill, the relevant anti-doping bodies will not only back but bite in the course of enforcement of these rules. So I invite or call upon my colleagues to pass this bill without much ado.
Senator Lalong.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Samuel Along, representing Plateau South. Mr. President, I stand to support this bill. I was also in council when it was discussed, and sometimes references are made to issues or incidences that happened to our athletes. I recall that a year or two ago, we were going to Olympics. Our star athlete was going to get gold medal, but because of allegations of drugs, and which later she was cleared. We are emphasizing that our youth should not be only be encouraged to do sports, but also do sports without attachment to drugs. If we don't put it in the legal way, we don't put restrictions, certainly we will not be encouraging our youth. Today we have a lot of people, a lot of children that are being groomed in Nigeria. And therefore, this bill to me is very, very timely. So that when we have people who qualify to represent this country, they will go with the image of Nigeria. And I stand therefore to support this bill, and also to say that I stand with the sponsor of that bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Lalong. Just before distinguished Senator Ekong Samson makes his intervention, let me pause for a while. The Deputy Senate President will take control from here. I've been invited to represent the Senate in commissioning one of the ring roads, I think, in Abuja. What do you call it? Is it ring road? Wuye or something? Wuye bypass. So I'll do that on your behalf in the next 30 minutes. So just you take control. But just before then, it has become imminent that we try to regulate some committees. So from time to time, we shall make announcements in respect of some committees. For the Committee on Appropriation, we have selected one person per state. If there is need for any amendment, we will approach DSP, we will do so. But for now, the committee has 91 members. So it's unwieldy. So the last Senate, the committee had only 20 members, 21 members. But this time I said, okay, let's take one person per state, and that will give us 36. And then let's also take one person per zone for inclusiveness, particularly our new senators who join us, who were not privileged to have any committee as either chairman or vice chairman. Let them have the first experience in the Committee on Appropriations. So all of them are involved. So if I may just quickly read. Distinguished Senator Solomon Lamilekon represents Ogun as chairman. Distinguished Senator Ndume represents Borno as vice chairman. Other members will include Distinguished Senator Ojus Okalu, His Excellency, as member at Fobia. Distinguished Senator Amos Johanna as member for Adamawa. Distinguished Senator Ekong Basi as member for Akwa Ibom. Distinguished Senator Patrick Obra as member for Anambra. Distinguished Senator Shehu Umar Buba as member for Bauchi. Distinguished Senator Siriaki Dixon as member for Bayelsa State. Distinguished Senator Odende as member for Benue State. Distinguished Senator Jaribe as member for Cross River State. Distinguished Senator Joel Onowakwo Thomas as member for Delta State. Distinguished Senator Professor Anthony Ani for Ebonyi State. Distinguished Senator Nedi Maswen for Edo State. Distinguished Senator Bamidele Michael Okoyemi for Ekiti State. Distinguished Senator Okechukwu Ezea for Enugu State. Distinguished Senator Kinkibe Ireti for the FCT. Distinguished Senator Yaro Anthony for Gombe. Distinguished Senator Izunaso for Imo State. Distinguished Senator Abdulhamid Maduri for Jigawa. Senator Khalid Ibrahim Mustafa for Kaduna. Senator Rufai Hanga for Kanu. Senator Nasiru Sani Zangodara for Katsina State. Distinguished Senator Yahya Abdullahi for Kebbi State. Distinguished Senator Karim Sunday Steve for Kogi State. Distinguished Senator Omar Sadiq Suleiman for Kwara. Distinguished Senator Abiru Michael Adetukumbo for Lagos. Distinguished Senator Akwashiki Godia, Nasarawa State. Distinguished Senator Mohammed Sani Musa for Niger State. Distinguished Senator Gushaba Emmanuel for Ondo State. Distinguished Senator Olubiyi Fadeyi Oluwole for Osun State. Distinguished Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai for Oyo. Distinguished Senator Dike Plank for Plateau State. Distinguished Senator Enyose Orwell for Rivers State. Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Lamido for Sokoto State. Distinguished Senator Manu Haruna for Taraba State. Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Mohammed Bomai for Yobe State. Distinguished Senator Ikra Biabius for Zamfara State. Distinguished Senator Augustine Akobundu for another member from Abia State. Distinguished Senator Musa Mustafa from Yobe State. Distinguished Senator Pam Macon for Plateau State. Distinguished Senator Biggie Barinada from Rivers State. Senator Fada Hansi from Osun State again. Distinguished Senator Kabib Mustafa from Jigawa. You will notice some states are repeated because they are selected from the zones to be added. And so this Senator Solomon Adiola Olamilekan, you are well guided. You have about 43 members. So it's more than double what you had in the 9th Senate. But if there's any amendment to be made, the Deputy Senate President is available in case somebody belongs to too many committees and does not want to belong to the Committee on Appropriation. So the person can always assist. So a few senators will go with me, Senator Kyla and Senator Ifayoba, Senator. I'm sure I mentioned to some of them when I was coming, just maybe two or three. Senate leader, I think it's correct. So that we go and commission the edifice for the benefit of Nigeria. So yes, well, the last contributor was Senator Lalong. So I want to thank you for that. And I don't think at this stage, I don't think more people are contributing. So you may wish to go into clause by clause consideration so that you can go expeditiously for my departure.
Leader, you can move the motion so that the Senate will go to the committee of the whole to go to the clause by clause consideration of the bill.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to move a motion for the Senate to resolve into committee of whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority Leader. Minority Leader, second.
Second. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Those in favor of these clauses to be passed, to stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 30 to 39. Those in favor that they stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, I move that we should revert back and request Mr. President to report progress.
The leader, minority leader.
Minority.
Mr. Mr. President, sitting as chair, Distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by Manuela, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Joint Committees on Sports Development and Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 and approved as follows. Non-title as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 42 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 43 as recommended. Short title, clause 44 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Capital Market on the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons as listed in the order paper for appointment as Director General and Executive Commissioners of Security and Exchange Commission.
No, you have to move a motion for third reading. Move a motion for third reading. You move a motion for the third reading of the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 to be seconded by the Mantle Leader.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move a motion that the National Anti-Doping Bill 2024 be now read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the anti-doping bill report be read the third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to domesticate and enforce in Nigeria the International Convention Against Doping in Sports, establish the Nigeria Anti-Doping Center to implement Nigeria's obligations to the World Anti-Doping Code, international standards, and for related matters 2024. Third reading.
A bill for an act to domesticate and enforce in Nigeria the International Convention Against Doping in Sports, established the Nigeria Anti-Doping Center to implement Nigeria's obligations to the World Anti-Doping Code, international standards, and for related matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Capital Market on the confirmation and nomination of the following persons as listed on the order paper for appointment as Director General and Executive Commissioners of Security and Exchange Commission. The senators will recall that the report was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 14th May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Izuna Zousita, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Osita, the floor is led to you to present your report. Senator Osita.
Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, my name is Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, I move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Capital Market on the confirmation of the nominations of the Director General and Executive Commissioners of Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Anthony, could you please second the motion?
Mike. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Anthony Siakoyaro, representing the good people of Gombe South. I rise to second the motion of this report on SEC DG and its members' confirmation. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator and second by Senator Anthony, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. You may wish to present your report. Lead the report.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to be as brief as Mr. President when he's presiding. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at its sitting on Tuesday, 14th May 2024, considered the request by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the confirmation of nominations of Emomotimi John Agama, Samia Hassan Usman, Abimbola Oyebola Ajumole, and Frana Chukwuogo as Director General and Executive Commissioners of Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, respectively, and refers same to the Committee on Capital Market for further legislative action. The committee requested and received from the Presidential Liaison Office to National Assembly matters the following relevant documents in respect of the nominees: curriculum vitae, relevant academic certificate, clearance from the State Security Services, police report on fingerprint search, asset declaration, income tax clearance. The nominees were invited for screening on Monday, the 27th of May, and the originals of their nominees' credentials and reports from the Department of State Security, Nigerian Police, income tax clearance, asset declaration were duly cited. Relevant questions covering their educational background, work experiences, issues on capital market, trend, and current affairs were asked. Arising from the screening exercise, the committee made the following findings about the nominees. 1, that they were eminently qualified for the appointment. 2, they have passed through all relevant security checks and screening. 3, they successfully and adequately responded to all the questions during the screening exercise. Consequently, the Committee of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are Emomotimi John Agama from Bayelsa as Director General of SEC, Abimbola Oyebola Ajomole, Ogun State, Executive Commissioner Operations, Frana I. Chukwuogo, Enugu State, Executive Commissioner Legal, Samia Hassan Usman, Kano State, Executive Commissioner of Corporate Services. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I thank you for your attention and the opportunity given to us to serve. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman, for being very, very brief. This is no time for debate. We might want to move to the committee hold to go to the next stage of the processing of the bill. But Senator Ojikalu wants to say something. Sorry. It was seconded by Senator Anthony. Yeah. Is that what you wanted to raise? Well, you know that you are an experienced legislator. You were in the House of Reps in the Third Republic, and now you are Chief Whip Emeritus. You know that there is no time for debate. We need to move ahead. Well, if you have any observations, report you can state.
It's always good to have you preside because you make the job very easy for everybody. I want to say a few things, although I'm not a member of this committee. I think the committee have done a very good job. And these are credible Nigerians and credible people which the state security and other relevant security agencies have cleared. And I don't see why the Senate cannot go into the next move and clear them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chief Emeritus. Leader of the Senate. Leader, can you move a motion so that I go to committee of the whole?
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to move a motion for the Senate to resolve into committee of whole to consider the report.
Minority Leader, have you consulted your elders? Okay.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report on capital market. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the leader, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Motimi John Agama, representing Bayelsa State, for appointment as Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Samia Hassan Usman, representing Kano State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Abimbola Oyebola Ajumale, representing Ogun State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of Security and Exchange Commission, SEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Frana I. Chukwugo, representing Enugu State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate Leader.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to move a motion for the Senate to revert to plenary to report progress.
The Manto Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Capital Market on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for confirmation as Director General and Executive Commissioners of the Security and Exchange Commission and approved the nomination of 1. Emo Motimi John Agama, Director General from Bayelsa. Samia Hassan Usman, full-time Commissioner, Kano State. Abimbola Oyebola Ajumale, full-time Commissioner, Ogun State. Frank I. Chuku Go, full-time Commissioner, Enugu State. As Director General and Executive Commissioners of the Security and Exchange Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Now we go to confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Emo Motimi John Agama, representing Bayelsa State, for appointment as Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC)? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of the nomination of Emotimi John Agama, representing Bayelsa State, is hereby confirmed as Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC). Number 2, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Samia Hassan Usman, representing Kano State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC)? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Samia Hassan Usman, representing Kano State, is hereby confirmed as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Abimbola Oyebola Ajumale, representing Ogun State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC)? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Abimbola Oyebola Ajumale, representing Ogun State, is hereby confirmed as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission. Number 3, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Frank I. Chukwugo, representing Enugu State, for appointment as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC)? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Frana I. Chukwugo, representing Enugu State, is hereby confirmed as Executive Commissioner of the Security and Exchange Commission. Senate Leader. Well, before that, the Senate, on behalf of the Senate, I will want to congratulate those that have been approved to work at the to be at the helm of affairs of SEC, and that they should try to work hard to do their job in the best manner possible in order to contribute in the best way to bring about the work of SEC to be in tandem with our desire to turn around the economy of this country for the better. This is a call to duty. It's a task that has been assigned to them, and Mr. President has confidence in them before appointing them. They should try to make sure that they don't let Mr. President down. They don't let the nation down. They should do their best to promote using that esteemed institution to bring about anything that will promote the economy and the entire well-being of this country. Congratulations to them once more. So, Leader of the Senate. The chair of the committee and members of the committee for a job well done. You've acted based on the report you submitted. The report was precise and direct to the point. It was very easy for us to understand what you put together. You showed experience. As someone who has been in the National Assembly for so long, you have shown that you are well experienced. So the Senate commends you for a job well done. So, Leader of the Senate.
The Senate President, distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is presentation and consideration of the report of Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs on the screening of Honorable Kayode Oladele for the appointment as a member of Federal Character Commission. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President C was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 19 March 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Onyezo Alwell, Chairman of the committee, to move motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Orwell, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report of your committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Orwell Onyeso. I represent Rivers East. I rise to move that the Senate receive and consider the report of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs on the screening of Honorable Kayode Oladele for confirmation as member of the Federal Character Commission. I so move.
Senator Ede Jafenode, you may wish to second the motion.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion for the adoption of the report of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs on the screening and confirmation of the candidate, Honorable Kayode Oladele, as a member of the Committee of Federal Character, as raised by Senator Orwell. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator Orwell, the chairman of the Committee on Federal Character, and seconded by Senator Ede Dafinode, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may wish to present your report, Senator Orwell.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you may recall that this Senate, at its sitting on Tuesday, 19th March 2024, read and referred to the Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs a request by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, in consonance with the provision of Section 154, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and Section 2 of the Federal Character Commission Establishment Act, to confirm the nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele as member, Federal Character Commission. On the membership of the Commission, kindly note that the Federal Character Commission is a revolving establishment, with commissioners exiting at the end of their tenures and new appointees replacing them. In the circumstances explicitly cited in this segment of the report, the committee notes that the nominee is to replace Honorable Abiodun Akinlade, who has been duly elected to represent his constituency in the National Assembly as a member of the House of Representatives. The committee received the curriculum vitae and other supporting documents of the nominee, as well as relevant security clearances, with an acknowledgement of his documentation at the Code of Conduct Bureau, and invited him to appear before it for the screening exercise. The nominee appeared before the committee on Monday, 13th May 2024. The committee interviewed him and received explanations regarding his qualifications, experience, stability, competence, and ability on the responsibility to promote, monitor, and enforce compliance with the principles of the proportional sharing of all bureaucratic, economic, media, and political posts at all levels of government, and related mandates geared towards equal opportunities among the citizens. You will find the details of the screening on item 4.0. Honorable Kayode Oladele responded well to the questions and issues raised by the committee, and satisfactorily convinced the committee that he would utilize his vast experience in law and public administration for the advancement of the goals of the Federal Character Principle in Nigeria if his nomination is confirmed by the Senate. The committee, after exhaustive deliberations and scrutiny of this curricula vitae and other supporting documents of the nominee, and having been satisfied with his qualifications, experience, stability, competence, and ability to administer the Federal Character Principle, herewith affirm the stability of the nominee for the appointment, and having thanked the President and leadership of the Senate for the opportunity given to serve in this capacity, the committee hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele as a member of the Federal Character Commission, which so recommend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Patrick, it's not time for debate. Is there any mistake in the report? Okay. Okay, leader. Off your mic.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move that we refer to Committee of Whole to consider the report.
Minority Leader. Your mic, Leader.
I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and second by minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele for appointment as a member of the Federal Character Commission? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senate Leader. Move a motion for the Senate for the President to report progress at the plenary.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move that we revert back to plenary to report progress.
The leader, the minority leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader, seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Federal Character and Governmental Affairs on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as member Federal Character Commission, FCC, and approve the nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele as member Federal Character Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. With the Senate confirmation, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele for appointment as a member of the Federal Character Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Kayode Oladele is hereby confirmed as a member of the Federal Character Commission. Let me commend the committee headed by Senator Owell for a job well done. You demonstrated your commitment to duty, you and members of the committee, by bringing out this report, which is precise and direct to the point. It's on this note that I congratulate Honorable Kayode Oladele and I'm calling on him on behalf of you that we should regard his appointment as a call to serve this nation. And therefore, he needs to put his best uh, for the service of FCC in particular and the nation in general. He'll do his best to promote the interests of this wonderful entity and the nation at large. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the fifth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Musa Mohammed Sani on urgent need to address the incident of landslide that buried alive over 30 informal miners in a gold mining site in Galadima, Kogo Ward, Shiroro Local Government in Niger State. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Musa Mohammed Sani to move the motion.
Senator Musa, the floor is yielded to you to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Muhammad Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my motion is an urgent need to address the incident of the rock slide that buried alive over 30 informal miners in a gold mining site in Foreign Doki community in Shiroro local government of Niger State. The Senate knows that on Monday, 3rd June 2024, a catastrophic rock slide occurred at a gold mine, which led to at least over 30 local informal miners buried alive in the Foreign Doki community near Erana in Shiroro local government, located within the Niger East Senatorial District of Niger State. The miners, in their quest for gold and lithium minerals, met their untimely end as the avalanche carved in, burying them under tons of rubbles. Also note that this unfortunate and tragic incident underscored the urgent need for comprehensive and holistic action to be taken in order to frontally address the dangers faced and posed by local mining activities taking place across the country. Mr. President, further note that in view of the vast mineral resources in the region, it is imperative to secure the mining sites in order to forestall future occurrences and avoid further loss of life. This will go a long way to ensure that mining activities are conducted safely and legally to prevent future tragedies and improve the overall well-being of miners across the country. Worried that the bodies of the deceased who are victims of this unfortunate event are yet to be recovered for proper and dignified burial by their respective families, to this end, conscious efforts should be made by relevant agencies of government for the recovery of the bodies of the deceased for burial, and aware that at a time like this, Nigeria is desirous of diversifying its economy. The mining subsector is lucrative enough and should be adequately exploited for the socio-economic development of this country. As such, the appropriate authorities should, as a matter of urgency and necessity, initiate thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident so as to identify any existing lapses as they relate to safety regulations and enforcement in the sector. And as part of remedies to bring sanity to the system, strict regulations should be introduced in order to protect the lives of those who depend on this industry for their livelihood. It is also apt for the relevant committees of the National Assembly to step up the oversight of mining activities taking place across the country for the purpose of harnessing the benefits that abound in the mining sector. Accordingly, results: 1. To observe a minute's silence in honor of the victims. Commend the Minister of Solid Minerals for his swift and proactive response in monitoring the situation at the mining sites. 3. Urge the federal government to come out with strict safety measures and regulations on mining activities in Nigeria in line with international best practices, and deploy adequate security apparatus to the mining communities in order to maintain vigilance around mining areas to prevent further incursions and intrusions by informal miners. Also urge the National Emergency Management Agency and other relevant agencies of government to expedite actions on the recovery of the remains of the deceased in the catastrophe to ensure that the bereaved families can have final closure. And finally, mandate the Committee on Solid Minerals to conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the sites to ascertain the remote and immediate cause of the rock slide and accelerate the passage of the Mine Branches Bill currently before the Senate. I so submit, Mr. President.
Senator Asuku Ekwenyo, can you second the motion?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Asuko Ekwenyo, Senator representing Cross River South. I rise to second the motion as ably read by Senator Sani Musa. Thank you.
Anyone that wants to contribute to debate? No one? Okay, we'll put the question. Okay, Senator Abdul Lingi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Lingi, and I do represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Our commiseration to the deceased families. Mr. President, this is a very sad moment in the history of this country. Although mining incidents happen even in developed countries with a better mining equipment, but what happened in the Niger State actually clearly spells dangers, very many dangers across the country because of the rampant illegal mining in this sector. It runs almost everywhere from Oshun to Zamfara to Bauchi to Plateau and several other states. So this underscores the importance of making sure that the government particularly pays attention into the mining sector, because this is just the first one that we're witnessing. And if care is not taken, it will spread all across the country. Because of the situation in the country, because of the hardship, people get into this mining without adequately knowing the repercussion and the danger associated with this kind of illegal mining. So once we put our acts together as a parliament, and thanking the sponsor of the motion, because the right thing must be done. And when the right thing must be done, we minimize the issues of these incidences and we minimize the casualties that will come after it. It is very imperative that the government must pay attention. The mining is taking over farming in the entire scope of northern Nigeria. So therefore, a special attention must be paid to the possible repercussions in the mining sector. I am sure government is bedeviled with serious attention from left, right, and center. And therefore, it is important that this motion is taken seriously, and it is imperative that this motion should not just be limited to what you discussed on the floor. The Committee on Legislative Compliance must be able to make sure that something is done and done timely, so that before other things happen in other domains, this particular matter is nipped in the bud and making sure that these bodies are first recovered. I think it is disheartening that these miners are still trapped. That means the whole issue of mining
as a country, we are not ready for it. Where mining is seen as a pastime, like in South Africa, in Australia, there is no way people will be allowed to be trapped for up to 12 to 24 hours. But 4 days down the line, these miners are there. I'm sure by the time you reach there, you only find bones at the end of the day. And that is not good for this country. And I'm sure we will do everything possible. The government must do everything possible in making sure that this thing doesn't happen. And if it happens, there must be a remedy whereby bodies or people that are involved have gotten some way out of the rubble, because it is really disheartening. Families of these people don't even know whether these people are dead. They are just presumed dead hypothetically, but no, because nobody sees the body, nobody could reach them, so it is neither here nor there. So I support this motion. I should be seen to be a very serious motion, and it should be supported by all and sundry in this chamber. Thank you.
So, Senator Delda.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Neda Imaswine, and I represent Edo South Senatorial District. Mr. President, just yesterday, one of our colleagues here, Senator Natasha Akpoki, came out with a bill on this same subject matter of illegal mining in our country. And I think we all overwhelmingly supported it. So I thank again Senator Musa Sani, who also supported the bill. And this motion is very apt, and I think it speaks very clearly and deeply into the worries, into the problems that surrounds illegal mining in our country. What happened in Shiroro demonstrates very clearly one of those consequences of illegal mining. Yes, we all know that there's hardship in the country, but our government, we must pay serious mind to what is happening in our environment, in our communities. Besides the environmental degradation that illegal mining portends, this also demonstrates the physical loss of lives of Nigerians who, for whatever reason, go into this business. Again, we tend to pay lip service to diversification of our economy. The quantity of gold we have in this country and the value of it is such that Nigerians have no business being poor. There's no reason why we cannot lift up Nigerians from poverty, because God has endowed us with these minerals, but we have for some reason ignored tapping on them to help our citizenry. So I urge us to support this motion and see how we can bring it in line with the bill of that came up yesterday, so that we can all, in a very holistic manner, try to assemble and to put everything in focus in such a way that we can have one holistic bill that can take care of all these problems in all our communities. It's not just gold. There are so many other minerals in this country that is illegally tapped. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anyone from here? Then from you, then Mohammed will round up so that we can move to the prayers. Senator Mohammed Mungono.
Distinguished President, Senator Barrow Jibril, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tair Monguno. I represent Marte Monguno, Ganzai Federal Constituency of Borno State. I think one of the major problems of the mining sector in this country is the lack of legal and institutional frameworks that guides the mining sector. I think it is high time, by way of necessary legislative intervention, just like Senator Natasha proposed for gold, as rightly alluded to by Senator Neda, there is need for a holistic legislation, just like the PIB that we did for the petroleum industry sector, a holistic legislation that guides mining in the country rather than leaving it for the whims and caprices of various ministers of governments, subjecting it to policy somersault and what have you. So there is need for a legislative framework, especially against the backdrop of the fact that we are now preaching the gospel of diversification of the economy away from oil to agriculture and then the mining sector in order for us to earn the much needed revenue. So I think the National Assembly should invoke the powers that is conferred on it by Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, make the necessary legislation to guide the sector rather than allowing it to the whims and caprices of various government officials, as the case may be. Thank you.
Senator Onao Mohamed Ogoshi, round up the debate so that we can move to the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Mohamed Ogoshi Onao. I represent Nasarawa South. I sincerely want to commiserate with my brother, friend, and colleague for the unfortunate incident. Mining collapse, as we have experienced in this country, is a thing that happens on a daily basis due to lack of planning, lack of inspection, lack of monitoring, lack of education, and so many things that have been happening. Most of these miners go into mining without designs, and they do not do an assessment of what is likely going to happen, especially those who mine underground. If they do open pit mining, there will be no problem because all the overburden will be taken out. But they go into, because they want to save costs, they don't want to clear the overburden, they go underground. And some of these underground tunnels go as far as 10, 25 kilometers. And in the process, because they know that the laborers know that whenever they go in there, they must come out with something. And that something that they are coming out is enough money for them to sustain their family for a long time. So they risk their lives. So there will be need for the government to make sure that most of this or all of these mines, whether gold or any other mine that is going to go underground, must properly be designed and approved, and safety measures are taken and prepared for each miner, and safety apparatus must be provided for the miners before they go underground. Because if you go, some of these mines have ventilations, but they don't provide. If they don't have ventilations, when mines collapse, they will have no escape route. When people come to help, they will not have a way to go, especially if it is a rocky area. So, sir, I urge that this Senate will take appropriate measure to ask the compliance committee to look at what the mining industry is doing with the view of supporting the system to work well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We go to the prayers. Yes. Prayer 1. Observe a minute silence in honor of the victims. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Commend the Minister of Solid Mineral for his swift and proactive response in monitoring the situation at the mining site. Those in favor of the prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Urge the federal government to come out with strict safety measures and regulations on mining activities in Nigeria in line with international best practices, and deploy adequate security apparatus to the mining communities in order to maintain vigilance around mining areas to prevent further incursions and intrusion by informal miners. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Also, urge the National Emergency Management Agency and other relevant agencies of government to expedite actions on the recovery of the remains of the deceased in the catastrophe to ensure that the bereaved families can have final closure. Those in favor of the prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5, mandate the Committee on Solid Mineral to conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the site to ascertain the remote and immediate cause of the rock slide and accelerate the passage of the Mine Ranger Bill currently before the Senate. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. A minute silence, please. Can we stand up for a minute silence in honor of the deceased? Amen. Let me sit down. Let me, at this juncture, commend the mover of these motions, Senator Sani Musa, for bringing forward this motion. It is really unfortunate and very sad that the incidents occur in the first place. This brings to light the need for the government to strengthen the regulation of the solid mineral sector. We know the government of the day is doing very well in this regard, but it has been a cause of concern that we have a lot of illegal miners that are exploiting the resources that belongs to the people of this country without paying what is due to the government. And I'm sure if that is done, the government will be put in the best place to acquire all the necessary equipment and expertise to solve this kind of problem or to even stop it from happening. But the government is being shortchanged. It's being shortchanged. The government is not having the what is due to it. Payments are not made to it, but people exploit these mineral owned by government, but owned by the people of this country, without paying necessary fees to the government. And this is not what is being done in other parts of the world. We need to move to make sure that our solid mineral resources are exploited in line with international best practice. So it is on this note that all and sundry should come together to assist the government of the day in its resolve to deal with this matter decisively, making sure that whatever is due to the government is paid into the coffers of the government, but not allowing even sometimes foreigners coming in to exploit these minerals, taking them away to their countries without paying the government what is due to it. So we need to be up and doing, not only the Ministry of Solid Mineral, but all of us, including this Senate, try to see how we can assist the government in making sure that the exploitation of our solid mineral resources is done in line with international best practice, and whatever that is supposed to go to the coffers of government goes into the coffers of government. Once again, I thank everyone that contributed to this debate, particularly the sponsor of the motion. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, the distinguished colleague. The sixth order of the day and the last order is a motion standing in the name of Senator Nasiru Sani Sango Daura and 20 others on the urgent need to review security approach in addressing boundary attacks in Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, and Kebbi states in the northwest of Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Nasiru Sani Sangodara to move the motion.
Senator Sani, Nasiru Sangodara, you may move your motion. The floor is yielded to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Most distinguished colleagues, I'm Nasir Sani Zangondora, representing Katsina North. I stand to move a motion on the urgent need to review the security approach in addressing banditry attacks in Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kebbi, Kano, and Jigawa states in the northwest of Nigeria. The Senate notes that Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, and Kebbi states have been plagued by escalating banditry attacks, resulting in loss of lives, kidnapping for ransom, displacement of communities, and disruption of socio-economic activities. The Senate also notes that the state governments have allocated significant funds to augment the operations of the security agencies in combating banditry and restoring peace in the region. The Senate recalls the collaboration and coordination among our state governments, security agencies, and relevant stakeholders to develop holistic and sustainable solutions to the challenges posed by banditry in northwest Nigeria. The Senate is also cognizant that the governors of the states in northwest region affirm their commitment to supporting an acceptable and workable initiatives that promote peace, security, and development in the region, and pledge to work towards fostering a safe and secure environment for their people. And the Senate is concerned that the incessant banditry attacks on communities in the northwest region will significantly impact food production and agricultural activities, jeopardizing food security and livelihoods of the people in the affected states of the region and Nigeria in general, especially in the present rainy season. The Senate accordingly resolves to urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to direct a thorough review and evaluation of the strategies employed by security agencies in the region, and consider the deployment of additional security personnel or special task force to the identified hotspots to ensure the protection of lives and property. The Senate also resolves to also urge the relevant security agencies to collaborate with the respective state governments, local communities, traditional leaders, and stakeholders to gather intelligence.
Point of order, leader. What order?
Mr. Senate President, standing on order 8 of 3, I move that we extend our sitting beyond 2 o'clock to be able to contain the debate on the motion. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate extends its time in order to accommodate the remaining items on the other paper. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll go back to the Senate accordingly resolves to urge the present Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to direct a thorough review and evaluation of the strategies employed by security agencies in the region, and consider the deployment of additional security personnel or special task force to the identified hotspots to ensure the protection of lives and property. Also urge the relevant security agencies to collaborate with the respective state governments, local communities, traditional leaders, and stakeholders to gather intelligence and enhance security operations in the affected areas. We further urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to direct the establishment of a task force to evaluate the effectiveness and implications of negotiating with bandits, conducting a thorough analysis of the short-term gains versus the long-term consequences of such actions. The Senate also resolves to call on the military and security agencies to be proactive and innovative in their strategies to secure farmlands so that the farmers may return to their farms, thereby ensuring increased food production and food security, thus mitigating the ever-rising food price inflation currently being experienced in the country. I so move.
Senator Tambol may wish to second the motion and bear his mind on the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, I am Amin Waziri Tambol, Sokoto South. I second the motion as ably moved by my colleague, Senator Nasir Usani Zangundaura. And while doing that, Mr. President, kindly permit me to make my contributions on this very, very important motion. Mr. President, we are aware of the situation of food security or availability of food on the tables and in homes of Nigerians as at today. Imagine a situation whereby we are unable to make our farmers go back to the farm, especially this farming season, what that may portend down the line. Therefore, Mr. President, it behoves on us as leaders to ensure that all that needed to be done is done for the re-establishment of security in these areas and, if possible, in every part of this country. Mr. President, at the moment, most of our farmlands in these areas are no-go areas to our farmers. Once you step out of the comfort or the confines of their village, hamlet, or town, you hardly come back without being kidnapped. So it's important that we intensify every effort, in particular the security forces, to engender security and safety in these areas. Mr. President, from experience, it is important that Mr. President directs and Commander-in-Chief directs the armed forces to carry out coordinated approach on this challenge of banditry. For as long as they continue with the same strategy of containing it, for example, in Zamfara, once they disperse them, of course they will go to either Katsina, Niger, Sokoto, Kebbi, or even Kaduna that are contiguous to Zamfara state. So there is the need for a concerted and coordinated effort. And it can only be done when you have enough men on the ground, when you have the required equipment, and of course, properly packaged welfare for the security personnel. Additionally, I believe that there is the need for Mr. President to seek for a further legal framework that will give the Nigerian security forces the comfort to go out there to ensure that they engage these bad elements. How do I mean? We may have to identify these areas, get the coordinates, and Mr. President may have to seek the support of the Parliament to declare emergency, state of emergency in those areas. State of emergency doesn't require removal of any elected official of government, either the governor, the assembly, or even a local government chairman. But once that is done, that will give the military and the security personnel the comfort and confidence to go all out to engage. Because I am made to understand that there are some concerns from some of these quarters that once they do that, and there are some seeming infractions on fundamental human rights, they may be taken to International Court of Justice. But if we declare state of emergency in those areas, that will mean that all of those laws are waived and access is given to the military and other security personnel to carry out their duties unhindered. Mr. President, I support this motion. It's very important. Food security is too important, and we must always ensure that we support government to achieve that. Thank you very much.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Let me start by thanking my friend and colleague for raising this matter once more to the consciousness of the nation, particularly the Senate. Mr. President, you will recall that right from the 9th Senate, even the 8th Senate, the issue of insecurity has been on the front burner of national discourse. Mr. President, in those days, it used to be Boko Haram in the Northeast. Today, it is banditry in the Southwest, kidnapping in the Southwest, banditry, herdsmen attack, and kidnapping in North Central, and moving down the Southeast and the Southwest, similar occurrences rear their heads. Mr. President, the concomitance of all this is that it has given birth to so many inconveniences, so many negative aspects of our lives. And looking at the heading of my colleagues' motion, Mr. President, I want to say that there was a time that some of us have to mention in this hall that the time to take decisive action is now here.
This August Senate, not in the hall.
Sorry?
This hall. This is beyond the hall.
Okay, this hallowed chamber.
Thank you.
And so, Mr. President, I think that the action required now goes beyond a review of our security architecture. Because I will recall that in the 9th Senate, the security architecture of this country was a subject of review, headed by our revered leader then, distinguished Senator Yahya Abdullahi, with a very comprehensive finding, with very far-reaching recommendations that ordinarily would have put paid to the current situation that we find ourselves. But, Mr. President, it is very sad to note that from the 9th Senate up to this moment, it looks as if the issue of insecurity is still in a talk shop matter. And then it is dovetailing now from insecurity on the land to food insecurity, the greatest of all insecurities. And so, Mr. President, just like I have posited before, I think there is a need for all critical stakeholders, including the President himself, who will now call a meeting of all relevant persons, lock themselves in until they find solution to the insecurity problem in this country. They should not come out of the room. We should not come out of the room, if I'm included. Because, Mr. President, how do we explain a situation where we say the army is involved in this eminently asymmetric war that is not their war? Because the Nigerian police have become deficient in tackling the problem. Today, we are talking about the combined forces of all security agencies in this country. And so if we continue to have this insecurity manifesting in all manner of activities, and the soldiers, the police, the civil defense, the prison, all armed agencies of this country, if they are incapable of solving the problem, Mr. President, where do we go from here? Because it has come to a situation where you cannot sleep in your room with your family now with all eyes closed. So, Mr. President, I think that our compliance committee and all the leadership of this Senate should take a responsibility of liaising and interfacing with the executive towards finding a lasting solution to the problem of insecurity in this country. We should be talking about economic development like other countries. We are busy talking about insecurity. Our economy is deteriorating. So, Mr. President, I thank my
You have not
colleague
commended
for this
Mr.
motion.
President. You have not commended Mr. President in what he's doing to
Well,
turn around things in the
Mr.
country.
President,
He's doing very well.
I leave
Minority
that.
leader, say the truth.
I leave that to when you are going to comment or review the whole situation to make commendation. But I'm very sure that it will be sheer hypocrisy if we sit in this place
Thank you very
all
much.
the problems that we have and say we should be commending ourselves.
Thank you very much.
I don't think it is time for commendation.
You have to commend Mr. President. He's doing very well. Senator Sani Bello, I'm sure you will commend Mr.
Thank
President.
you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Abubakar Sani Bello, representing Niger North. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion and also to align myself with Senator Tambwa on the need to address this situation once and for all. Mr. President, this situation started back in 2017 and it has been on since then. Mr. President, I strongly believe, I have a very strong conviction that this situation can be addressed by having the right boots on ground, the necessary equipment, and boosting the morale of our troops. However, Mr. President, the presenter of this motion mistakenly or deliberately exempted Niger State. I think Niger State should be included in this motion, and I'll give you my reason. These bandits tend to move from one forest to another. If they get hit in Zamfara, they move to Niger. If they get hit in Niger, they move to Kebbi. If they get hit in Kebbi, they move to Sokoto. So, Mr. President, I think it would be wise to include Niger in this approach so that once and for all, this situation will be addressed. But I have no doubt in my mind from my experience of being governor of Niger State for 8 years, I know our security agencies are working very hard, but they will need more support, they will need more boots on the ground, they will need the necessary equipment, and they need their morale to be boosted in terms of welfare and their remunerations. So I would like to support this motion, and I would like to congratulate my colleague, my neighbor, for presenting this motion. I know we have discussed this so many times in this hallowed chamber. We will continue to discuss this until we get the desired result. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Mohammed Mutari Mohammed Nduzi.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my respected colleagues. I'm Senator Nduzi Montari Mohammed, representing Katsina South. Mr. President, this motion is timely and is very, very important for us that are affected by this very unfortunate situation. If you can recall, I made this point of order last 2 weeks to discuss on this very important motion. Funtua Senatorial Zone and most of the northwest regions that are affected, The economic situation we are in that zone is very unfortunate because more than 50,000 farms are not accessible now because of banditry and criminality. In less than 1 week in my senatorial district last week, this bandit and criminal element and terrorists, they killed 122 people in Paskari, Bakori, Malumfashi, and Kankara local government, which is in my senatorial district. And also, Mr. President, one of the ward in Paskari local government area has been taken over by terrorists. The bandits are now performing the duties of security agencies, including escort, and deciding days people will be allowed to go out for their legitimate business. On 27th of May, between Sheme and Ankara in Paskari local government, along Sokoto Road, the armed bandit in the early morning hours ambushed a newly acquired armed personnel with rocket launcher, and they destroyed that very armored personnel carrier. The escalating violence and banditry in Katsina and in the northern region pose a significant security threat, impact in all facets of development. Mr. President, unless we are honest and committed, and we should have a political will to deal with these criminal elements because they are not above the law. As a matter of fact, this criminal element, if there is a coordinated and concerted effort by the security agencies and in collaboration with the state governors and the local vigilante, I believe it will be a thing of the past. But there is no synergy in actual sense between all the security agencies. There is no synergy, no cooperation, no collaboration. Whatever they will meet in the security meetings, they will go and do a different thing. And that is why these criminals have even informant among some of them. So as a matter of fact, Mr. President, we need to do more because we want to make a sustainable development for this country. And one of the key problems also on these mining issues that have been discussed, most of these areas, they have gold mine and they are supported by most of the criminal elements. Some of them even are foreigners. And no government effort being made since the revocation of the license. There is no legal framework, as my colleague said, to deal with that situation, which is very important to the economic development of Nigeria. We want to sincerely thank the effort of Mr. President because he's doing his best to ensure peace and security of this country. Because this country is blessed, we have all the basic raw materials needed for development. So we have to put all the mechanism and make sure that we should not put politics or any tribe or any religious issue is something that, because we have no other country than Nigeria. If you go to Funtua alone, 30% of them are from different parts of this country. Mr. President,
Thank you.
it's very important we should deal with this issue in a very holistic and more reasonable approach so that we can deal with this criminal element. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Anduzi. Former leader, Senator Abdullahi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Yahya Abdullahi representing Kebbi North. I would like to ally myself with the views that have been expressed by all the previous speakers, particularly judging by the extent of the destruction of human life and properties that has accompanied this banditry, as elucidated by my distinguished colleague, Senator Danduse. Mr. President, you are quite aware that I think in the last 3 or 4 sessions of this National Assembly, issues pertaining to security of life and properties, pertaining to dealing with non-state actors, bandits, and terrorists, have been one of the major preoccupations of Parliament. And the minority leader has come out very clearly and expressed the fact that in the Ninth Senate, we engaged all the security agencies in the country and anything, any institution that has to do with security. On the basis of that, we sat down in this Senate and came up with a review of the national security architecture. We submitted the report to this chamber, and this chamber duly approved all the recommendations that we have made to that effect. We distributed the result of our deliberations to the presidency and to each of the security institutions. But I don't think that effort of the National Assembly has seen the light of the day. I'm sure the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's administration, judging by its commitment to bring succor and peace to the nation and to secure the country for development, is trying to do the best that it can under the circumstances to bring peace to the rural communities of this country. Like Senator Tenduze had said, and also like the former governor of Niger State has also elucidated, the entire northwest and north central parts of this country are on fire. There is virtually no security anywhere. Like one of my colleagues said, the moment you come out of your village or your urban location, you go outside, you are not free. You cannot farm. Traveling from one position to another, you have to hold your beads, prayer beads, hoping that you reach your destination in peace. In Kebbi State, which I represent, all the senatorial districts are not safe. In fact, some of my own political associates, and indeed a very close political associate of mine, we have been following, he had been kidnapped about 3 or 4 days ago. We have been trying to follow the kidnappers. We paid ransom. And I'm afraid that from the information that we are getting from security agencies, they have killed the person with his associates. So this thing has become so commonplace that we are not talking it as news. It's no more news again. That's why you don't even hear it. Because it's happening all over. It has become ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So are we going to start all the time talking? We have been talking. But that's why when I see some of these motions, coming from our colleagues about security challenges, about banditry, there is nothing that is being said now that has not been said. There is no recommendation that is being made now that has not been recommended. We made the effort and made the recommendations. We set up a whole committee. Mr. President, you are part of the member of that committee. When we spent a lot of the intellectual and political clout of this National Assembly try to work out a system. But that kind of recommendation that you have said, I don't think anybody has looked at it. I appeal, Mr. President, to your good officers, to reach out to the president of this country. Let him order his security institutions to have a look. Look at what the Senate has said. Look at the recommendations that we have given. It's all encompassing. We're even suggesting the focus of certain security agencies to certain duties. But this kind of thing has not been done. We wasted a lot of the resources of this National Assembly trying to get this thing. But with this thing at the throat, I just pray that we use our good offices to get the president to look at these documents and for praying for peace in this country. And also, some of us, as old as we are not giving up. We are not giving up. We can't give up on this nation when Bola Tinubu is in power, because we think he has the wherewithal and the commitment to bring soccer and to bring order and security to the people of this country. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, leader. Leader is an elder statesman. Elder statesman always an elder statesman. He has said the truth, and he believes that the president is working very hard, and by grace of God, this problem will be surmounted. He has said everything. Now we will allow another former leader to speak, and then all of you will speak. But we'll give you one minute so that whatever has not been done, has not been said, you can please say it. Almost everything has been said, but probably there are certain things that have not been said. So please go straight to the point. Another former leader, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central. Mr. President, I rise to support this bill reluctantly. This is about the fervent motions on this particular matter under the Senate. Mr. President, it is alarming, disturbing, and tragic that we're still talking about these matters now. First, we have the best trained army on the continent of Africa. We have the most equipped army on the continent of Africa. We have recorded successes outside the shores of Nigeria, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Somalia, in Darfur, and other United Nations peacekeepers. Our army, at every given this peacekeeping mission, comes out successfully tough. Mr. President, let me also say that there is this kind of understanding that the entire bandits in this country are between 5 to 10,000 in population. And here we are, 10,000 bandits have made the life of 250 million Nigerians impossible. Therefore, what do we need to do? First of all, we must create this up. There has to be faith, commitment to this. And how do you do that? It is my opinion that while the president is appointing the chief of army staff, the inspector general of police, and the head of these security agencies, there must be a commitment and a contract with a time frame. How do you go? I'm appointing you chief of staff, national security advisor, inspector general of police, and I give you timelines in making sure that in the next 2-3 months, I don't want to hear of any banditry. And the security agencies will now, on the other hand, give the president their requirements for them to be able to succeed. Mr. President, as you sit there, even though I'm not from the Northwest, my part of the country is also affected. But what you hear about complicity of some security personnel disturbs me. Mr. President, there was a time that over 20 vehicles in Zamfara were asked to pursue these bandits. But there was also an order that all you do is to scare them and don't shoot them. Scare them, let them run away, but don't shoot them. You hear some of these things times and times and times again. You get involved with some of these security chaps. Certainly, sir, as the leader or leaders of this chamber, you need to sit down with Mr. President. The whole truth is that he doesn't have the vital information that he needs to act. The information that the security agencies probably are not competent, or they're afraid, or there is complicity. And therefore, all we need to do is to match this with timelines. Give them what they want, but give them timelines to achieve it. Once people know that they're going to lose their positions, they will act. But so far, this thing is so common. Nothing will happen. You ask people to go and do their assignment, they don't succeed in them, they come back and they continue to do the same thing all the time. It is disturbing that if we don't take care, sir, finally, sir, I see a situation whereby one of these states mentioned could be taken over by bandits in the government house. If care is not taken, the way these things are going on, I raise my case. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your contribution. Well, we know in any system, in any setup, you have the good ones, you have the bad ones. Yes, we have those, members of the security agencies that we have in this country that are not doing what they are supposed to do, or they are not doing well. But majority of them are doing very well, and they have put their life on the line to safeguard us, to ensure security in our country. It's a problem. It's a national problem, and it's something that has global dimension. Terrorism has global dimension. Is something that a problem that other countries are also facing. But from the posture of Mr. President, from what he's doing, I'm sure it will be a matter of time that this problem will be surmounted. Senator Ereti Kingibe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory. I would like also to join Senator Sani Bello in saying that FCT should have also been part of this. The truth is that FCT has a lot of banditry and insecurity. And what is scary about that is the seat of government, is where you all live. And therefore, it will be a great shame if you hear one day that some senators were kidnapped, or even worse, people even higher than senators. I think that banditry should be treated with the utmost urgency, especially here. I admit it's all over the place, but you can all see why I believe there should be a certain perimeter around this place that must be absolutely secure. Yes, maybe in the center we can move around with security. Try going to the outskirts, but still in the FCT. There's still a lot of insecurity. It's not something that we should be, what's the word, just treating with levity. It is critical and urgent. Sometimes you go out in your car, I go out with armed men, and I'm still afraid sometimes once it's after dark. In the capital of Nigeria, that should not be so. So I also support Senator Nyingi that there should be goals for the security agencies. There should be consequences. There should be timelines. I so submit.
For being precise and contributing within the time given to you. Senator Nelda, you also have the same period. I hope you do. You take a cue from your neighbor, Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, Senator Neda Imaswa, representing Edo South Senatorial District. For me, this matter, I think we have overflogged it. Not in the 10th Senate, but in the previous Senates before the 10th Senate. As Nigi says, Senator Nigi and the ones before him said, it has been well canvassed in other Senates, 9th, 8th Senate, 7th Senate. And we seem to be going around the same circle. And if we continue going around the same circle and we're expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. We must deviate from the way we approach security. We have said in these chambers, and I think and I pray that the bill presented to, that we need state continue to try all other means that we have been trying for ages, and we have not gotten any result, and we have failed to try the issue of state police. We are going nowhere. And I'm happy that we have former governors here. Governor Sani Bello, Governor Uzo Kalu, both of them are worthy alumni. And Governor Waziri asked them, let them tell us here, if they have the power to control their borders with their own police, will they be able to arrest situations like this? And I will bet you that the answer will be yes. Sani Bello, when he was the governor, we all knew him very well then because he was crying almost every day that the federal government should come to his aid. If he had his own police, he had his own commissioner of police that he appointed, and he's given a standing mandate. Stop this banditry in my territory. If he needs to hire 1 million police to control his borders, he will, to make sure that it doesn't happen within his borders. And if every state governor has such powers over their police, trust me, Mr. President and honorable colleagues, this issue becomes something of the past. Let us not start playing, I don't know how to put it without sounding very insulting. Let us focus on this matter frontally and see it from this point of view. At least let us try it and see how it goes. That's my submission, Mr.
Please, let's round up with the chairman, Senate Committee on Army. But you have 2 minutes to round up because the mood of the Senate indicates that. So,
thank you, Mr.
But
President.
only say those things that are not.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Abdulaziz Musa Radwa, representing the people of Katsina Central. I want to commend my colleague, Senator Nasru, for bringing up this matter. First, I want us to commend Mr. President for what he has been doing. From the time he came in to today, I think there has been very significant improvement in the security of this nation. We must also commend our security forces, the armed forces, and other security agencies for what they have been doing. Yes, we have a very big challenge in the Northwest, the North Central, and other places in this country. But we must recognize the effort of our security agencies for what they have been doing. At the same time, knowing how they have been losing their lives, in the fight against this insurgency. I want to support the fact that there is need for a coordinated effort. Quite agree. But we must realize that our security agencies need the right equipment and what it takes to be able to carry out this coordinated effort. So it is important, Mr. President and our distinguished colleagues, that we realize that whenever the security agencies come to us here seeking to get this equipment, it is very important for us to realize that we have to pass, their budgets. One of the impediments they are having is the issue of this envelope budget. Mr. President, as I'm talking to you, the supplementary budget of the Army, the capital project appropriation is yet to be released to them. So how do you expect them to fight this battle? It was lumped in the recurrent expenditure they wrote for a corridor.
Chairman, you have 1 second remaining.
And yet, thank you, Mr. President, for adding my time. And yet, they have not gotten what they need to fight this battle. So I think it is very important for us to understand. And the issue of coordination, I think I even raised a motion here on the need for them to improve in their synergy. And if we remember, we invited them here, and they all confirmed to us that there is a great effort in ensuring that there is synergy among them.
Thank you. Asuku, you say you want to add something? Quickly do that within 1 minute so that we can go to prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Asukwe Penyo, representing Cross River South. So without repeating what people have said, let me just add my voice to the fact that the current administration is doing a lot in the area of security. The thing about peace is that it's almost like oxygen, if you will. When it's in a room, you don't really appreciate it, but once it's sucked out of the room, you do. Some of the security sector's victories are not usually publicized because of the kind of operations they do. But when there's a loss of life, and the loss of even one life is one too many, is usually out there in the public. That said, there's a lot more that needs to be done by the administration in the security sector. Just like the chairman of the Committee on the Army, there's a need to increase manpower, there's a need to skill up our manpower and to provide them with appropriate equipment. Security has gone past the period or the era of just enforcement. A great deal of intelligence gathering, analysis, and dissemination to the different forces are required. And that is what this administration must focus on, providing the necessary equipment and manpower for intelligence gathering and analysis. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. We go to the prayers. Urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to direct a thorough review and evaluation of the strategies employed by security agencies in the region and consider the deployment of additional security personnel through special task force to the identified hotspots to ensure the protection of lives and properties. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Also urge the relevant security agencies to collaborate with the respective state governments, local communities, traditional leaders, and stakeholders to gather intelligence and enhance security operations in the affected areas. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Further, urge the President, Commander-in-Chief to direct the establishment of a task force to evaluate the effectiveness and implications of negotiating with bandits, conducting a thorough analysis of the short-term gains versus the long-term consequence of such actions. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Call. No, wait, finish. Call on the military stroke security agencies to be proactive and innovative in their strategies to secure farmlands so that farmers may return to their farms, thereby ensuring increased food production and food security, thus mitigating against the ever-rising food inflation currently being experienced in the country. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer, Senator Medoki.
Thank you very much, the President, my distinguished colleague. My name is Garba Musa Maidoki, representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. So the additional prayer I have is the front bases that have been, land has been acquired for by the previous Army administration should be established forthwith. There are front bases that the Army had determined long ago that they should be established, and land has been purchased for that purpose, but they are yet to take off. We believe if those front bases have been established, like the one in Bena, for which land has been bought, and if we believe if it is established, it will significantly have impact immediately.
Seconder of his additional prayer. Any seconder? Senator Medoki, I'm sorry, it fails. Why do you raise up?
The hand has been up.
Mr. Chairman. It's a security matter, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry. Let me tell you how it is done, Senator Midoki, next time. If you are coming with such a motion, just get someone around, to second the motion, or even try to have people that will support you. You didn't do that, so we had dealt with that. So next time, we can't go back there. You didn't do it. I saw you. Any additional prayer?
When my hand was up, you were looking the other way.
No additional prayer. Let it be done.
Senator Senator Adwa, you say something. Maybe you would like to bring that to commend Mr. President's other security agency for their efforts in surmounting the problem of insecurity in the country. Would you like to bring that as a prayer?
Yes, Mr. President. I would like it as an additional prayer.
Musa is second. Yes, second. Second motion.
Oh, I thought I'm giving my own.
Wait, okay, don't worry. Second the motion.
No, I will second the motion and then add another prayer. Okay, I stand to support what my brother, the retired general, have proposed.
Oh, okay, those in favor of the additional prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Go ahead.
My name is Muhammad Sani Musa, Niger East Senatorial District. My additional prayer is that this motion should include states in the North Central. And we also call on the security agencies, especially the Nigerian Army, to reintroduce all those patrol spots that they usually have back. And once they do that, it will curtail most of the... Yeah, that's my prayer now. That's my prayer.
A seconder, please. Senator Adende.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Emmanuel Memga Udende. I represent the very good people of Benue, Northeast Senatorial District. I stand to second the motion that North Central states be added to this motion. I so second.
Those in favor of the additional prayer by Senator Sani Musa and seconded by Senator Odede, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Okay. So let me commend the mover of the mission, Senator Sani Zamgwandara, and all those that contributed to the debate. The problem of insecurity is something that has international dimension. It's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. And we know in the leadership how the president is working day in, day out to surmount this problem. All aspects are now being looked into. And I want to assure you that going by what Mr. President is doing and his team and the security agencies, very soon, by grace of God, it will become a thing of the past. We should continue to support Mr. President, giving the necessary support so that he succeeds in his effort to make sure that this problem, the problem of insecurity in this country, is surmounted, so that we'll bring back the country to the way it used to be before this problem started. It might be a very long and hard fight, but we shall get there. We shall succeed by grace of God. So we thank all of you for your contribution and your passion to see that this problem is solved once and for all. So on this note, that the Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday next week at 11 a.m. prompt. 11th day of the month of June 2024 at 11 a.m. prompt. Thank you.